Good morning. Welcome to Unity. We are going to start with the welcome song, I Am Glad You Are Here.
I'm glad you are here. I'm glad you are here. I want to share my love with you. I'm glad you are here. I'm glad you are here. I want to share my love with you. For we are one, for we are one, for we are one, for we are one, for we are one in the company of love. For we are one, for we are one, for we are one, for we are one, for we are one in the company of love. I'm glad you are here. I'm glad you are here. I want to share my love with you.
All right, good morning again. We are glad that you are here. I am Karen Clint. I am been a member of Unity for over 25 years. We welcome you to the Unity of the Hill Country, where we offer a positive path for spiritual living. If you would please just take a moment and silence your cell phones so it does not disturb our community gathering today. And also check in. All right, another welcome. And check in on Facebook if you'd like to just let the community know you are here. All right, let's give a warm welcome to this week's guest speaker, Hal Robinson. Really excited to have him here today and share his thoughts about where we're at in transition after the flood. And also our guest musician, Stacia Woods. Again, we're so grateful to both have their talents here today. If you would, please join me now in our opening prayer. As we join together in heart and mind to celebrate the presence of the divine, may we feel at peace, may we find the joy of the universe, filling our hearts with love, may we experience health and wholeness on all levels, body, mind, and spirit. And if we could express our statement of faith, there is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God, the omnipotent. Okay? We'll take a moment here for the blessing of the Christ candle. And the Christ candle is lit, calling forth our awareness of spirit. As this light shines, we set our intention to awaken inspiration, guidance, and remembrance of our divine nature. May this flame remind us that the Christ light lives within us and among us. We'd also like to express an affirmation to attract a new minister here to Unity of the Hill Country. It is with thankful hearts that we attract the right and perfect minister for the Unity of the Hill Country. Welcome to your new home. Okay, affirmation of prayer is essential to the Unity movement. We are honored to pray with you. All written prayer requests are sent to the 24/7 prayer vigil at Silent Unity. You can also call the number on the screen to have someone pray with you or submit prayers online. That is a very sacred experience. I highly recommend it. I do it quite often. Let us now take a moment to hold space for all the prayers in our congregation, in our community, and in our world. If we could all turn our attention to our prayer chest, each name and request placed within it is held in the light of divine love and infinite wisdom. We affirm that the perfect healing, guidance, peace, and joy are already at work in each life, in each prayer. We release these prayers in the care of Spirit, trusting all is in divine order. Thank you. The Daily Word has been giving the Worldwide Unity Movement a daily prayer since 1924. We join with the millions of daily word readers throughout the world. Today's reader is Mr. Jack Porter.
Thank you. Today's word is truth. Can you share with me and read the statement of affirmation? I speak my truth with clarity and compassion. That's good. We'll repeat that in a little bit too. Living is an increasing polarized world. I am aware not everyone will share my perspective or see life the way I do. As much as I want to live harmoniously with others, I also want to stand up for what I believe, what I know is true for me. I appreciate that others feel the same way about their beliefs. I speak my truth. I center myself in my divinity while acknowledging the divinity of all others. I am honest and grounded, staying steady if someone does not agree with me. Likewise, I receive others' truths as I would want them to be received as mine. In the presence of God is within me. I am spiritually being living with integrity, speaking words of truth, and with spiritual power. Zechariah 8:16 says, "These are the things that you shall do. Speak the truth to one another. Render in the gates judgments that are true and make for peace." And let's repeat our affirmation. I speak my truth in clarity and compassion. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. I'm certainly trying to speak with clarity and compassion today. Thank you for your patience. Let's see here. So let's please join me in our mission statement, please. To live consciously, celebrating the divine potential in all, as well as our vision statement, revealing oneness in a world of universal peace, love, and abundance. So you're in luck today. Thank you for your presence today, and I think you'll enjoy staying after service for a meet and greet and some social time. Today is Celebration Sunday here at Unity of the Hill Country. It's the first Sunday of every month. We take time to honor birthdays, anniversaries, answer prayers, and take pretty much everything in between. If you have something you'd like to celebrate, please stand up, raise your hand, and make it known right now. We welcome you to. Does anybody like to share? Yes.
I have a birthday on the 15th of this month. I'll be 81.
Awesome. And what is your name?
Bill Peabody.
Bill Peabody has a birthday. Happy birthday. Awesome. Your solar return.
She brought some stuff for later.
Oh, nice. Awesome. For Celebration Sunday. Anybody else have anything special, a joyful positivity? Yes. Oh, awesome. Another birthday in the back. And your name, sir? Tony. Happy birthday, Tony. Anybody else want to sell any good, feel-good stories? Or yes, yes, ma'am.
My name is Patty, and I've been a member of various community churches for a long time, many years. And I used to go to the Unity Church here. Haven't been in a long time, so I'm just really glad to be back.
Well, Patty, we're so glad you're here today. That's great news. Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully you're all hearing some stories of connection and healing around the community. I know I'm very focused on those and how we are all coming together to not get over what's happened, but to get through it together. And again, thank you for your presence here today. So let's please join us in blessing our celebrants with the affirmation on the screen. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are. Okay, and now Stacia will lead us in this week's congregational song, I Am So Blessed.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
That was beautiful and so very true. I'd like to introduce Hal Robinson, again from Dancing Bear Teaching Lodge here out of Kerrville, and I wanted to offer something unique. Hal is open to any questions from you guys today about his talk, points or insights, again, during his, or after, right after, or maybe even during your talk today about after the flood. So I'd like to introduce Hal Robinson.
I got this one. Yeah. I'm grateful you invited me. It gives me an opportunity. When I saw in the thing, Hal's lesson, the flood has definitely been Hal's lesson. I pushed every button I have that can be pushed. So the timing was really good. Karen invited me after I was able to meet with a group of water rescue team. I won't mention where they were from. These guys worked 29 hours right after the flood. They hiked 64 miles, carrying full gear. They saved lots of people. I think it's okay they were pretty upset when we met. So there was a lot of anger. There was a lot of frustration, a lot of sadness, and a lot of this, looking for somebody or something to blame. So it's an interesting thing that part of the lesson we began to talk about is when I feel hurt, I might actually want to hurt other people. That's a pretty important lesson. See, some people have not got that lesson yet. So that was a thing that came up for these men. Came up for me too. So we began to move in a direction of what can we learn from this? We're reacting to this physically, emotionally, mentally. Therefore, it must be a spiritual issue also. If the first three dimensions are involved, we have the belief that the fourth dimension, spirit, is right there at the same time. It's a belief. But we're acting like that belief is our path. So we began to get into this stuff, like, how come spirit has got this in my life? What can I learn from this? And as you can imagine, that helped us move away from this as a way of thinking into more of this. It moved from me as an angry being to us. What can we learn from this? So the first thing we learned is how easy it is to move into judgment, blame, criticism, looking for somebody to hurt. How crazy that is. So, Spirituality and Health is the name of a magazine that's into spirituality and how it relates to health. And sometimes I've written articles for them. And they have a monthly contributor, a rabbi, calls himself Rabbi Rami. The man wrote in that he was meditating all the time and he was in a beautifully altered state and he was just so almost in ecstasy all the time, like you know. And he said his family thought he was nuts. And his friends were saying they just don't want to be much around him anymore. And he said, is that what it's like for us spiritual types? That's what it's like for you, Rabbi? And the rabbi said, no, my spirituality humbles me and creates emotional suffering. And I wonder what's right and what's wrong. Sometimes it feels like my spiritual life knocks me into the dirt. It's very challenging. It's not sitting around going, Om. I suggest you find a therapist. So, spiritual lessons from this flood are not sitting around going, Om, surrounding everything in pink, pretending that everything is okay. So the first place we started with the group is talking about us. How are we reacting to this? And it's pretty universal. A lot of us reacted like this physically. We contract. Emotionally, we felt anger and fear and resentment and frustration. And mentally, our minds were critical and judgmental and blaming. We all shared that really quickly. We wanted to make it right away. And the way the world is, we could not do that. None of those men could do that. How hard they worked, how long they worked, they couldn't make it right. So how do you live with that? So the first thing that some of the men shared is they began to feel distant from Creator. Like something's wrong. Creator's making a mistake here. This is not right. And you understand the dilemma there. Creator's running the show. We're not in charge. What we are in charge of is how we react to what's in front of us. So a lot of us there shared in the beginning the frustration and the anger and the resentment and even some self-pity. And when we moved into what we could learn from this, we began to see, as the men began to share, that there was a lot of self-judgment. That no matter how much they had done, there was this voice in their mind telling them it was never enough. Interesting. So some of the men were able to recognize that they've been listening to that voice a long time. We were able to provide the information that they didn't have that voice when they were born. That's an implant. Put in the blank computer when we don't know we're being programmed. If you follow the Jesus way, you may hear this as judge not. If you were a Buddhist, you would hear that the Buddha said the fastest way to create suffering is to want other people to be different. That'll get you there right away. It's a guarantee. You'll create suffering in that moment. So that's an art of creation. What are we creating? So part of that is we learned from neurobiology. And these men were interested in learning this, which was interesting to me. That when my thoughts were judgmental and critical, creating the emotion of anger, my carotid arteries begin to contract. You've heard you reap what you sow? That's it. My mind judges you, and my body begins to get less healthy. That's it. You reap what you sow. Instant karma. So the advice by the Jesus man suggesting we give up judgment was good advice, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. You notice that not many folks listened. They judged him and hung him up too. So Native people call him the first sun dancer. He was tied to a tree and pierced, just like we do at Sundance. So one of the things the men learned, and again, another lesson for me many times in this lifetime, is how quickly my programmed thinking moves into judgment, what's wrong, I should fix this, this is not right, who's to blame, and then I feel a certain way. So again, we moved into another level of consciousness of noticing that thoughts create emotions. The situation did not create my emotions. My thoughts about this situation creates my emotions. Thoughts create emotions, and emotions create feelings in the body. Holistic medicine, in a nutshell. Thoughts create emotions, emotions create feelings in the body. So how often do you hear people say, it makes me feel? You upset me. You hurt my feelings. You ruined my day. It drives me crazy. My job stresses me out. I think energetically that when we're talking like that, we say, I say, my job stresses me out. Which for me, fortunately, is not at all true. My job, here's my job, stresses me out. So when I talk like that, I have set up this kind of relationship energetically. I have put myself in the victim role. There's another part of it that has to do with social engagements. When I say to you, you hurt my feelings, I'm also saying to you, you be different so I won't be upset. That's what's underneath that. You hurt my feelings. You be different so I won't be upset. So some of us in that meeting down by the river that afternoon, we couldn't understand that sometimes we have that relationship with spirit. Spirit, be different. I'm upset and it's your fault. I want the world to be different. I want people to be different. I may even want our current president to be different. Imagine that. So the Great Spirit has provided lots of places for me to see where I want people to be different. And I've connected my happiness to their behavior. You be different, then I'll be happy. As you probably know, if you're in relationships, that doesn't work. It turns out, in my relationship with the Great Mystery, it doesn't work there either. It just doesn't work for me to say, Great Mystery, you're doing this wrong. And I know how to do it right. That's the other part of that story. I know how to do it right? Yeah, actually, I don't. This is a mystery. So sometimes Wakantaka is translated as the Great Spirit, and that's not really true. It's really the Great Mystery, because we can't comprehend. This is only a human mind. We literally cannot comprehend the totality. So the totality of the Great Mystery is a flood that people cross over. So the men I got to talk with helped a lot of people. They also witnessed people they could not help. And they're carrying that. So my part was to listen to them and to have these images in my mind. So the other part, we went to a deeper place, which was really deep for these young men. Some of them went home and looked at their children and said, oh my goodness, I've been neglecting you. Some of them went home and said it to their wives. Some of them went home and said, I'm grateful. So there was some transition for them. When we moved to get away from why and who to blame into what can I learn from this. Got into some very interesting stuff. So we were able to talk about self-judgment and how part of their spiritual journey may be to give up self-judgment, to offer it up maybe. So we talked about how easy it is to blame the world and the consequence of that. That when we're in judgment, that when our mind is in judgment, besides our carotid arteries contracting, it turns out our serotonin goes down. Can you imagine that? Judging people and creating the emotion of anger drops my serotonin. That's not exactly rocket science, is it? There's this idea that self-judgment is a big factor in depression. So the suggestion by the Jesus man to give up judgment was a solid suggestion in all four dimensions: the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Now the challenge is the how-to. So that's part of what we got to work with a little bit out there. How do I do that? I've been listening to self-judgment most of my life. I inherited it. I wasn't born with it, but I thought that was me. I had a grandchild tell me once that the voice in the mind that picks on her all the time is really her. You understand her confusion? I held her 4 minutes after she was born. That voice was not there. I lived with her a lot. I got to see when that voice got implanted. It's in the culture. It's in the speech. She grew up with the idea that if other people were upset with her, that she should not dance the way she wanted to dance. She should change the way she is to please other people. So that's painful enough anyway on the outside. It's a whole different trip when it's done on the inside. So part of what we could do meeting with those young men was to talk about moving, understanding that when my thoughts are critical and judgmental, it creates the emotion of anger, then my body gets sick. When my thoughts are self-critical, it creates the emotion of guilt and shame, and my body gets sick. So judge not is really good advice, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. It's an instinct for some of these young men to have this thing happen outside of them, this great great suffering for a lot of people. And they were able to use some of it to make a shift in how they are with their family and their children and their coworkers. They felt a different kind of connection. Because it was all us. We were just talking about us, right? It was all us. We were all the same in that. So an interesting thing in my own life is having worked with people all over the world, from Australia and New Zealand and up north Canada and Alaska and South America and Brazil, and lots from Mexico. That the voice of judgment is a powerful energy. That it's worth our time to be aware of how much we engage in that and be willing maybe to make it an offering to the great mystery. So when I speak of the great mystery, I'm not using the word God. That's intentional. One of my granddaughters told me that God was a guy that sat on a big throne, had a white beard and long white hair, and he had a sword and he hit you if you were bad. And she learned this in Sunday school. So my nature sometimes is to push the river a little bit. I said to my granddaughter, "Tell me who else is there besides God up on the throne?" She said, "Oh, all the angels, Papa." I said, "Oh, tell me about all the angels, granddaughter." She said, "They're all tall, they're blonde-haired, and they're blue-eyed, and they're all handsome." Nobody out there looks like me, huh? She said, "No, Papa." And this is a little dark-complected child that heaven is occupied by the Aryan nation. It's kind of weird. So I suggested to her that there are other possibilities because she was afraid of that God. Not her fault, huh? The other part is kind of subtle. Is she got the message, like a lot of us have, that God is male. That's kind of a weird program for females. And I have the idea, it's a fantasy, that accounts for how men treat women in the world. The programming that God is male energy. So for indigenous people, that's not the belief. That it's male, female, and God is way beyond that. So relatives, I thank you for coming today. I appreciate the invitation. So part of the message is, how do we change this? We look at our reactions and we ask, what can I learn from this? And most of the time it seems like, if we're honest, we can learn that this doesn't help out there or in here. It seems true that the less of this I carry, the more light I can carry. So I had a teacher once, she was crossing over, told me, share the medicine, help the people, and stay on the clock. So Sunday morning with you all is staying on the clock. The things I'm talking about is share the medicine. And the prayer is, it is some help to the people. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Hal. It was very cathartic in helping us kind of transmute our feelings of loss and grief. Does anybody have any questions or like to make a point about what Hal had to present today?
I'd like to know what's in the bag.
Oh. We have a question about what's in the bag.
Yes. Thank you. A little smudge. For me to smudge myself before I come in. That I leave everything else behind. And I'm just here. I'm not thinking about lunch, and I'm not thinking about mowing the lawn. I'm just here. So it's one of the 4 sacred herbs. A little sweetgrass to keep my thoughts from the heart, out of my ego. some prayer ties. These would go on the ceiling of the sweat lodge. Usually Lana makes them when we do the sweat lodge out of her house. So the prayer ties. North, red, the good red road. It has a little ball of tobacco at the top, a prayer. Red road is the spirit road. It's north, it's narrow, it's slightly uphill. Yellow, sunrise, new beginnings. Let each moment be a new sunrise, a new beginning. South white, regeneration, the great star nation, where our soul grows after we cross over back to the Milky Way where we came from. And west, black, the thunder beings that bring us rain. Black is either chaos or potential. And it seems to be our task as two-leggeds to bring order to the chaos within ourselves first and then in the world around us. So thank you for asking.
So would all that be considered part of, not to give it like an umbrella, but energy medicine under indigenous practices? I guess that was a yes.
Can I say a few words?
Yes, Mr. Ray Benton.
You know, I agree with everything that Hal said. You know, I had a guy ask me one time when I first started trying to get sober. He said, "You want to be right or do you want to be happy? You know, you can't have both." You know, we all get upset every once in a while. And if we get upset, we need to get to thinking about what things are and how they are. The way they're supposed to be, not the way I want them to be. You know, I'm the one that makes the decision whether I get upset or whether I accept the fact and go on about the matter of living. See, I expect you to accept me and love me the way I am because I have to. And I have to love you the way you are, and I have to accept you the way you are. What makes me think that I know what you need? That's crazy, folks. I have no idea what I need, much less what somebody else needs. God's will is going to be done in our lives, so we might as well accept it. Or we can be miserable, or we can be happy. I choose to be happy today. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you, Al.
On the mark. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You know, you mentioned, I appreciate you mentioning that this occurrence has hit you on many different levels. And I would have to agree with that. This is an experience of loss and tragedy that I'm unfamiliar with. Certainly with health and relationships and finances, but on a collective scale, on a mass scale like this, this is certainly new for me. And I appreciate the statement that in Buddhism, one of the fastest ways to suffering is to want somebody to be different than they are, which I think Ray Benton was commenting on. So thank you. Many good takeaways from that talk, and a lot about gratitude. So certainly has been awakening. So we have some special music by Miss Stacia, and it is "The River is Flowing."
The river is flowing, flowing and growing. The river is flowing back to the sea. Mother Earth is carrying me, her child I'll always be. Mother Earth is carrying me back to the sea. The moon, she is waiting, waxing and waning. Moon, she is waiting for us to be free. Sister Moon, watch over me, a child I will always be. Sister Moon, watch over me until we are free. The sun, he is shining, brightly he's shining. Sun, he is shining, lighting the way. Father, sunshine over me, your child I will always be. Father, sunshine over me until we can see. The fire is burning, destroying and healing. Fire is burning for us to be pure. Violet flame burn over me, a child I will always be. Violet flame burn over me until we are pure. I learned from the river, I learned from the red road, learned from the spirit wisdom to know. Mother Earth, carry me, your child I will always be. Mother Earth, carry me back to the sea. Thank you.
They're either shrinking or I'm getting fatter. I'm going to have to talk to the cleaners. I'm sure they're shrinking. So, an opportunity to do a meditation, a sharing with you all, a simple meditation. It's real helpful to me a lot. So the prayer is you might find it helpful. So this meditation is using the mind, using the body, and in a way it feels like I reconnect with spirit if I'm ungrounded or not connected. So right now, if you don't move your fingers, how do you know your hands are alive? That'll be a feeling. See if you can find that feeling that tells you your hands are alive. Yeah. Feel it just for a moment. Maybe give it a little air. Now, if you don't move your toes, how do you know your feet are alive? There we go. Breathe into that. We'll call that the feeling of being alive. And now if you want to feel the feeling of being alive in the hands and the feet at the same time. And if you want to, breathe into it. There we go. Now if you want, find the feeling of being alive in the very center of the body, because it's always there. Yeah, and then breathe into it. See how much of it you let yourself feel. And the operative word is feel. Okay, if you want to, take a breath, open your eyes. Just notice whatever you notice. Thank you.
Thank you, Hal. Well, we'd like to welcome any first-timers here today. If this is your first time at Unity, we're glad you're here. We hope that you find this to be a place of like-minded people and a place to belong. We teach spiritual tools that can help you no matter what is going on in your life. If you'd like, an usher can bring you a welcome packet, or you can grab one on the way out. If you would, please at least fill out the contact form out here on the table in the corridor if you wish to be a part of our weekly email newsletter. And for newcomers, I would like to just express that we do have a river altar here in the sanctuary. You are welcome after service to place a stone or a feather here on Kerr County and the river, offering any prayers of peace and healing for our community. We would now like to have an opportunity to support our spiritual cooperative. As we prepare our gifts, we recognize that giving is an act of love, faith, and spiritual connection. Please bless what you are giving and join us in an offering affirmation. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am and all that I give and all that I receive. I send it forth with my blessings and my love. And if we could all join together for our offering song, Freely, Freely.
Freely, freely I have received. Freely, freely I give. Divine love through me blesses all that I am, all that I give and receive. Freely, freely I have received. Freely, freely I give. Divine love through me blesses all that I am, all that I give I receive. Freely, freely I have received. Freely, freely I give. Oh,
Now for our blessing of abundance. We open our hearts in gratitude as we release these donations. We send these gifts forward through our congregation and into our world, blessing all that it affects. Amen. Okay, now to the fun part. Got a couple of announcements. You may have attended our last Crystal Bowl Sound Healing Circle. It is going to be on the third Saturday of every month. Our amazing Crystal Bowl practitioner, Linda Bertle, is here today, and just can't say enough about her skills and her offering of healing and vibration to those that attend these Crystal Bowl ceremonies. If you could connect with others in a sacred circle of love and peace as we hold space for victims for the flood while releasing feelings of grief and trauma. It is a beautiful hour, so we welcome you. And I believe that is August 16th, Saturday at 10 a.m. Also this month, on the 17th, 24th, and 31st, we have a Power of Three series. We'll be having healing meditation circles at 1 o'clock, again on August 17th, 24th, and 31st. Please join us in a sacred ritual of intention setting, heart-centered healing, and relaxation. We will be offering light refreshments and beverages right after service at noon. So come for refreshments, social, and stay for a meditation circle. And again, coming together to hold space for our community and for the victims of the flood. Well, we have reached the end of our gathering. If you would please rise up and circle and join hands, and if we could sing the peace song and say our prayer for protection.
Let there be peace on earth, let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. This sweet moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment